everyone, my name is Deepika. I am your TA this semester, and I'm creating a two-part video to show you all how to run some basic analyses in SPSS. So this first video is really to show you how to run frequencies on demographic variables. The most commonly reported demographic variables are age, sex, and race, so we'll be specifically looking at those. But before we do that, for those of you who are new to SPSS, this is pretty much what a data set looks like. So if you go down here to this data view tab, you can see how each participant responded on different items. So the rows over here are the participants and the columns are each item. So if you kind of scroll through, you can see how each participant responded, again, on each item. Then we can go over here to the variable view tab. So we click that and it becomes yellow, and we get more information about the items that we were asking about. So if you see here, this is the name. So this is the name of the variable as you see it on the data view tab. SPSS has specific requirements about the variable names, so they're usually truncated and don't always tell us about what the question is asking. And so in that case, we go into the label tab, and that just gives us more information about these variables, so we know not to get them confused. So here it says primary race, and then to give us more information, the question was, what is your primary racial identity? Okay, before starting, I also want to quickly put your attention to the values tab, because that could be helpful too. So the values tab tells you when we ask participants to give a certain number or a value to correspond with a certain categorical, usually value. So we can click the right part of this cell, and then that happens. And then you can see for sex, 1 means that they reported being male, and if they reported 2, that means that they were female. Okay, so now for the actual frequencies. So to do that, what we do is we go up to this Analyze button and we click it up on the toolbar over here, and then we go to the second item, which is Descriptive Statistics. And then we were interested in the frequencies, so we click the first option over here, which sets frequencies. And then this window pops up, and on the left side over here is every single item in the data set. So obviously we're not interested in the frequencies of every single item. We just want the demographic variables, so we have to quickly search for them over here. So like I said before, we're interested in age, sex, and race. So over here, year of birth can correspond to the age. And then I'm just going to click on the control button and then click sex and then primary racial identity. If you click on the control button while you hit these, it highlights all of them. Otherwise, you can do it individually as well. So I want to move these 3 items over here because that's the ones that we're interested in getting frequencies for. So to do that, I just click this arrow button and then click the statistics button at the top. And for the continuous variables, which of these 3, the only continuous variable is year of birth, we want to get some more information. And the information that we want would be the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, and the maximum. So then we can go ahead and click continue, and then click OK. And so then what happens is a new output window will pop up. And then it gives you the frequency information. So we'll quickly go over how to interpret the output that you get. So this first box over here you see is the statistics, and it tells you information about all 3 of the variables. Specifically, the first is the N, so the number of participants who filled out this item. So we can see that 256 participants indicated their year of birth, while 8 participants left it blank. And then we see 262 reported their sex, 2 left it blank, and then the same thing for the racial identity information is given over here. So like I kind of mentioned before, we're not interested in the mean, standard deviation, min, and max of these 2 variables, so we can ignore them here because those are categorical variables. But since year of birth is continuous, we can see that the mean year of birth reported was about 1990, or close to 1991 actually. The standard deviation was about 4.2 years. The minimum, which in this case, since it's year of birth, the oldest participant was reported being born in 1965. And the maximum, which since this is again is year of birth, means the youngest participant was born in 1994. So then we can scroll down and look at the frequencies of each of these three demographic variables. So the frequencies basically just tell you how many participants reported being born in each of the years. So we can see one participant was born in 1965, skip down a little bit, 69 participants reported being born in 1994. The second tab tells you then the percent of the total sample that was reported being born in any specific given year. So if we look back down at 1994, we can see that 26.1% of the sample reported being born in 1994. We can ignore for now these valid percent and cumulative percent tabs. What they do is basically just only account for the individuals who actually responded and don't account for the missing variables. But when you report your data, you're going to want to report this percentage in this second column over here, and then also mention that 8 people didn't report their year of birth, which was also 3% of the sample. So you get the same exact information for sex and racial identity. So we see that 67 people in the sample reported being male, whereas 195 reported being female. That was 25% of the sample male, 74% of the sample female. And then same thing for racial identity. And so that's pretty much it. So it's pretty simple. That's how you run a basic frequencies.